So you guys have received this file, right? 3.1 and 3.2.
Yes, Anu.
Okay, great. So now today we are just going to see the VLOOKUP concept. Okay, and this VLOOKUP is basically the one of the most important thing which you are going to use into your real scenario case, and from the interview perspective this is also one of the most important topic. Okay, so just understand the concept of this one, so you will be able to use it very easily. So now let's understand about this VLOOKUP. Okay, so most of the time I have seen in the interview when I have asked from most of the candidates, or in the other organization when this question was asked, that what exactly the VLOOKUP is. So people are not giving directly the answer that what is VLOOKUP. They are just giving with the example. Okay. Now suppose if you have this ID and if you want to search in a database, then you can use this VLOOKUP and so on. But they just want to hear it that what exactly the VLOOKUP, how you will define the VLOOKUP. Okay. So first of all, in the VLOOKUP, if you see, there are two words. One is the V. V stands for the vertical. Okay. And the second is the lookup. Lookup means to look or to search. This one. Okay. So in the VLOOKUP, we have a two word. V stands for the vertical. Lookup means to search or to find. It means if in the vertical data, if you want to search something or if you want to find something, then you can use this VLOOKUP. In the interview, they will also ask you how many parameters do we have in the VLOOKUP. So there are four input parameters or four parameters. One is the lookup value, second is the table array, third is the column index number, and fourth is a range lookup. So in the VLOOKUP, we have a four input parameters. Okay. So lookup value, table array, column index number, and the range lookup. So there are four input parameters. Now, I have just given you this data from column A to column E. And in column G, I have given you these three IDs. And I simply ask you, for all these three ID which I have given you in this column G, please provide me the name in column H for these employee ID. So if you are not aware from the VLOOKUP, or if I am not aware from the VLOOKUP, then generally what you will do? You will copy this first ID and you will search into this column A by doing the Control F find, right? And you will just click on the next. Where your cursor will stop, you will copy the name from there and you will paste it. Then same you will do for the second ID. You will copy this, select the column A, Control F, you will paste this ID. You will click on the find next. Where the cursor will stop, you will copy the name, right? Like this. Then same you will do for the third ID. Copy the ID, select the column A, Control F, paste the ID, find next. Here your cursor is stop, you will copy the name. So like this you will do. So it means if I have given you these three ID, then the three times I have performed that copy, paste and Control F activity, right? So VLOOKUP is going to help you to automate this activity. It means VLOOKUP is an automated form of the find. Okay, Control F for the find. So VLOOKUP is an automated form of the find. So if somebody asks you that what exactly the VLOOKUP, then you can say the VLOOKUP is basically an automated form of the find. Not find function, find, that is Control F which you do. Okay, this one. So for the VLOOKUP, one is the basic rule. One is the basic rule. The basic rule is that when you want to implement the lookup or the VLOOKUP between the two two tables or more than the two tables, then there should be at least a one common field. Okay, there should be the one common field. So like in this column G, the ID which I have given you, all these IDs I have into this column A, right? It means this column G ID is existing into this column A. So here you can see the common factor I have identified, or the common column I have identified. That common column is the ID column. Okay, so you can implement the lookup between the two tables if there is a common column or the common field. This is a basic rule of the VLOOKUP. Now, I just want to fetch the name. So what I
Sir,
will do,
sorry to interrupt, sir. Can you repeat, please?
so here in the two tables, you can implement the lookup when there is a common field. Like I have just given you the ID, and this ID column is existing into your source database, right? Into this column A. So on the basis of this ID, you can perform the VLOOKUP. But if I just give you, for example, in this column G, if I just give you the PAN card number as a common factor, suppose. So do I have any PAN card number into this column A to column E? No, right? So there is no common field. I have given you PAN card number, but we do not have the PAN card number column. So I can't fetch the data from the source table. So if you want to fetch the data from the source table, then there should be a common column. Like in this case, I have given you the common column values. In the G column, I have given you the ID, which is existing into my ID column into this column A. So I can fetch the name, I can fetch the designation, I can fetch the salary, I can fetch the location, anything from the source data set. Okay. Now here, if I just put the VLOOKUP, the first parameter is a lookup value. So lookup value is basically known as a search value. Okay, it means the common value which I have given you to fetch the name here. So in this case, the G column values are my lookup value. So I selected this G2. This is my lookup value, comma. It is asking now the table array. So table array always will select from the column in which your lookup value is existing into the source data set. So the ID which I have given you, which is my lookup value. So this ID is existing in a column into my source data set. So from here, your table array will get select, and just make it freeze immediately. So this freezing concept we have seen in the more details, right? So I have just freeze this one. So when I will drag this formula, so this range will not keep change, comma, column index number. So column index number always will start from the column from where your table array has been selected. Okay, or from the column in which your lookup value is existing in the source data set. So you have selected from the column A, because in this column A, your lookup value is existing. So this column A will have column index number 1. It means ID is column index number 1. Name is column index number 2. Designation is column index number 3. Salary is column index number 4. And location is column index number 5. I need the name here, so I will put the column index number as a 2, comma. In the range lookup, if you see the range lookup, so range lookup simply says true and false. True is the approximate match and false is the exact match. In place of the true and false, you can use the 1 and 0. Okay, for the false, for the exact match, you can use the 0. Suppose if you do not write the 0, it means you have not provided the range lookup and simply you have closed this bracket now. So default it will take the 0. It means default it will work for the exact match. Or you can put the 0 also, or you can write the false here also. Okay. So once I just close this bracket and press the enter, so here you can see it is giving you the name for this ID. Okay, so exact means the zero which I have given you here. So it means if the same ID is existing, then it will give the name for that. Otherwise, it will show the hash n. Okay. Now, if I just drag this formula to the downside, so here you can see it is giving you the name for each and every given ID. Okay. Now, suppose if I say I have given you the name, can you please provide me the ID for all these three employees for which I have given you the name? So the name which I have given you, this will work as a lookup value and which is existing into this column B in my source table. And the data which I am asking for, which is ID column. So ID column is in the left side of the name column or in the right hand side of the name column? Left hand side, right? This one. So this you will not be able to fetch through the VLOOKUP. This is the drawback of the VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP always help you to fetch the data from the column in which the lookup value is existing. From that to the right hand side you can fetch any of the column, but backside column data you will not be able to fetch it. So on the basis of name, I can fetch the designation, I can fetch the salary, I can fetch the location. But ID is in the back side of the column, so this I will not be able to fetch through the VLOOKUP. This is the drawback of the VLOOKUP. So here I'm just writing for your reference. We cannot fetch through the VLOOKUP. I'm not saying we cannot fetch it, but I'm saying through the VLOOKUP we cannot fetch it. Remember this point. Okay, through the VLOOKUP we cannot fetch this one. Okay, so this is basically the drawback of the VLOOKUP, that VLOOKUP always move from left to right, not from right to left. Okay, so you should remember this point. In the interview, they can ask you, what is the drawback of the VLOOKUP? Or if they have just given you the some question to solve it, might be they can give you this one. So you should understand this one. Okay. Now, suppose I have the data into this sheet. Okay. And the lookup value I have given you in the different sheet. And now my requirement is that the name which I have given you for all these names, I need the designation and my data is into the different sheet. Using this data set, I just need the designation here. So see, VLOOKUP, lookup value, then put the comma, table array. So just see very carefully, your lookup value is the name. Okay. So the table array will select from the name only. Just freeze it, comma. Now, on the basis of the name, if I need to retrieve the designation, then what will be the column index number? Anyone?
A2 column index number.
Huh,
Two.
Uh,
two,
2.
right? Two.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
2, comma 0. Press the enter and you can see it is giving you the designation. If you drag it, you are getting the designation for each and every employee. Okay. Now, for example, I have given you this data and in the G column, I have given you the ID and I said on the basis of ID, I need all these columns data. So simple. You will use the VLOOKUP, lookup value, then you will select the table array. Along with the header or without header, you can also select it. Okay. Freeze it. For the name, on the basis of ID, name is existing on the second column. So column number 2, comma 0. So it is giving you the name. Now I need the designation for the same ID. So obviously you will put the VLOOKUP here, only your column index number will get changed from 2 to 3. So I want to drag this formula to the right side. So what I will do, this G column I will lock it. So when I will drag the formula to the right side, then G column should not get changed. I will drag it, only the column index number I will change. See, here I will change this to the 3. Then salary is existing on the 4th number, so I will make it as a 4th. Location is on the 5th number, I will just make it as a 5. And then I will select all these values to the downside and Control D downfill. So here you can see for each and every ID, I have retrieved the name, designation, salary, and location. Okay, this one. So I have retrieved that. Now, here we have a one function which is a match function, and again I will come into this scenario. Okay, we have a match function. Match is one of the most important function. Okay, match function will help you to fetch the position of any value in a range. Again, I am repeating, match function will help you to fetch the position of any value in a range. Like for example, I have given you this A4 to E4 data. Okay, and here in this column G, I have just written as a location, and I just want to know that what is the position of location in A4 to E4. So I will simply write match. It says lookup value. Lookup value means the value for which you want to find the position, which is location, comma, lookup array. Lookup array means the range in which you want to find the position. And I said this one, comma 0 for exact match. Press the enter. So see, if you just go with this A4 to E4, so location is coming on the 5th position or not, right? This ID is on the 1st position, name is on the 2nd, designation on 3rd, salary on 4th, and location on 5th, right? This one. So now you can see for the location, it is giving you the 5. If I change this location to, suppose I change this to the name, see, it is giving me the 2. If I change this to the salary, it is giving me the 4. If I'm changing this to the ID, it is giving me the 1, right? So here, if you see, for this header, it is giving me, or for this value, it is giving me the position. Now just observe one thing very carefully. I written as a salary, and it is giving me the position of that. Now just look one thing. In the G column, the cell which is written over here, it is the same which is written on this D4. There is no spell error, but there is a here in D column it is written in uppercase, and in G column it is written in a lowercase. But still it is giving you the value. It means the match function is not a case sensitive function. Remember this. Match function is not a case sensitive function. Okay, match function is not a case sensitive function. Remember this point. Okay, now as I have seen that whatever the header or whatever the value I'm just putting it in G column, I'm getting the position of that. So instantly the one thing came into the mind, that where in the VLOOKUP, where we were giving the column index number by counting that 2, 3, 4, and so on, there we can use the match function. Okay, because in this scenario, for example, if you have a limited column, okay, into your table, then that is fine. You can count it, you can give 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever the column index number. But now suppose if you have a 500 column, okay, in your data set, you have a 500 column, and now you need to retrieve, suppose, these 4 columns, but suppose in your data set the name is coming on the 110 number, designation is coming on 215 number, salary is coming on 300 number, location is coming on 459 number. So how many column index number you will be able to count? That will be very tedious for you, right? And for example, putting all your effort, if you have counted that even, so that will also be difficult if tomorrow in your data set the position of these column gets changed. Like, suppose the name is coming on the 100 number today when you have implemented the VLOOKUP and here you have pasted this 100. But tomorrow, for example, if this name column gets changed from 100 to 200, then here again you have to count the column index number and here you have to change from 100 to 200. So every time you have to manage the column if your column position gets changed into your raw data set. Okay, so to avoid this kind of tedious activity, we use the match function in the VLOOKUP. Okay, so see the same scenario earlier I have shown to you where I have dragged this formula, then I have changed this 2 to 3 manually, then 3 to 4 manually I have changed, then this to the 5 I have changed. This manually I have done, right? But this time we will not change it manually. We will simply drag this formula to down and right side and we will get our desired output. See, VLOOKUP, lookup value, table array, and now in place of this column index number where we were hard coding this one, right? Column 2, then 3, then 4, we are not going to hard code it. What we will do, we will simply use the match function. Okay, simply use the match function. Now it says the lookup value for which column you want to find the position. So I said I want to find the position of this name column, comma, lookup array. Lookup array means in which range you want to find the position. So I want to find the position in A1 to E1, comma 0 for exact match. This 0 is related to the match function, comma this 0 is related to the VLOOKUP function. If I press the enter, see, I am getting the name perfectly, right? So this match function actually giving you the result as a 2. That's why you are getting the name. Okay.
Sir, can you repeat again?
Here, in place of this column index number, I put this match function. So in the match, I have just given this H1 that I want to find the position of this name column. In which range you want to find the position? A1 to E1. So if you find the name column in A1 to E1, so name is coming on the second number, na? So this match function is generating the column index number for you, and automatically it will get adjusted. Okay. Now in this, before drag this formula to the downside or to the right side, we have to implement the freezing concept here. So can anyone tell with a logic, remember, okay, can anyone tell that in this formula where you will put the freezing concept and why? I want to drag this formula to the downside and the right side to get my desired output.
Row number. We will put it at row number. $1.
$1. Okay,
Yes.
great, excellent.
And then that row means A1 to E1.
A1 to E1 is already freeze.
Okay, okay. So $1. That will.
$1. That's it.
And
Yes.
G also.
G also,
$2.
correct, right? G also. Now if I enter, and now if you will drag this formula to the down and right side, so you can see you are getting your desired output, right? Now, if for example, if your manager says that do one thing, In the column H, as of now, you are showing the name, in the I designation, in the J salary, and in the K location. Can you do one thing? In the K, can you show the location, and in the J, show the salary? So now, earlier, if you have done this hard coded, this one. So just tell me one thing. If I just need to show the location here, so you will change this column index number or not? Because this column index number is related to the salary, na? Right?
Yes.
You will change. But here in the VLOOKUP match, see, only I will change the header only, and automatically these values will interchange. See, I'm typing the location here and enter. Look, I'm typing the salary here and you see. Only I have changed the header, nothing else. Look, right? Only I have changed this header. That's it.
Due to match,
Match function.
yes, it is coming, no?
Yeah, due to the match function. Okay, so we always prefer to make the things dynamic into your real scenario, because every time you will not be able to change from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and so on. Okay, so it's better always use the match function and make the things dynamically. Okay, like here I'm just gonna show you the scenario. So this is basically the data. This data I have basically the trim. So here I have taken this 99 rows, you can see, and we have these 28 columns, if you see. Now in this, suppose if I have just given you this account number, okay, and for this account number, I need to retrieve the IFSC code, account extension ID, amount, and bonus. So if you see this account number, so account number is existing into my first column. And now if you see for this one, if I just need to fetch the IFSC code, so where is the IFSC code? You will search here. Where is the IFSC code? You will search like this, right? And where the IFSC code will come, like here in column Z. So you will count that, okay, what is the column index number of this? And you will type it manually. So today, if that IFSC code is coming in column Z, tomorrow it might can come into column X also. Okay, so we have to make these things the dynamic. Okay, so here we have to retrieve all this information using the VLOOKUP match. Okay, so what you will do into this scenario? VLOOKUP, this is the lookup value. And always remember, when you are shuffling to the sheet, when you are moving into the sheet, put the comma first of all, then move it. Like here you can see I have given the lookup value, and now for the table array I have to go into the data 1 tab. So firstly I just need to put the comma. If I will not put the comma, then it will create the problem for you. Okay, now after that I will come into this one and I selected this table array. Okay, then comma. Now I will put the match function and I will come into this assignment here. I want to find the position of this IFSC code column, comma, lookup array, in which go into the data tab and select the header in this range, comma, 0, match 0, and VLOOKUP 0. Enter. Look, I am getting IFSC code, and same as well I will put $sign here and $sign here, as you guys have told already. Now enter. Now if I drag this right side, and now if I drag this formula to the downside, see, I am getting the IFSC code, account extension ID, amount, and bonus. I'm just getting that. Okay, so this is basically the concept of VLOOKUP match.